It's 48 sharks, alright. It's 48 sharks here. It's 48 sharks here. And we're going to talk about DMT. So, yeah, one of my coworkers asked me about my shroom experience. That's somewhere in my video catalog. But the story, I mean, it wasn't that much shrooms, so I wouldn't say it's that great of a story. I mean, aside from, like, seeing the security guard and hugging a tree, because, like, I panicked, and I thought that was the most normal thing to do, was just, fuck it, hug a tree. Because, I mean, that was what made sense in my mind. Between that and, the next trippy thing was, like, it was really fucking cold out, and, we were, like, we had sweaters and shit on, like, we were, you know, we had, like, good, like, cold clothing, but it was still cold, and so, like, in SpongeBob, I don't know if you've ever seen that one episode as a kid when when SpongeBob is trying to sleep and he goes over Patrick's house and he pulls the rock over him like a cover. So we got under my dad's truck and we're like laying under the truck as almost if to like pull it over us like as a blanket, because we thought like if the truck was over us, like if like we went and then like so this much of us was sticking out from the truck so we could like still look up and see the sky. It didn't fucking do anything, but I mean that was the intent. And then as we're looking up, like halfway under my dad's fucking truck in the parking lot in the middle of the night, but we're looking up and we're looking at these fucking trees outside my room, and we're just looking at these trees, and then I just started crying because I had never seen something more fucking beautiful than the trees when the fucking plants and the leaves and the trees when I saw them. I mean, I just looked up and it was like nothing, no human could have painted this. No machine or AI could have done this. This was just literally nature, and it looked like a fucking fucking Picasso painting or Van Gogh or whatever the fuck, one of the greats from Rembrandt. And it was just so beautiful. It was the most beautiful thing I ever seen. So I just started fucking crying. And then the next day was like fucking Suicide Sunday, which sucked because I was freaking out what was going on. I was like, why am I so depressed? Why am I so withdrawn? It's because you exhaust all your dopamine and all your serotonin. So then, you know, the Magnificent Monday came around and I was better. But as far as the DMT experience, like I have another video where I think I go a lot more in detail in it. But basically, I did it the first time. I did it 3 different times. The last time is my breakthrough dose. So the first time I did it, I'm looking at 2 of my friends. I'm not gonna name them, but I'm just gonna say, fuck it. Nobody knows who the fuck I'm talking about. So my friend Paul and my friend Ryland. And Ryland had the shit, and me and Paul came over to hang out and like smoke. So we went, and this time the DMT was like in a pen, so it was like the vape form of DMT, and we hit it, and I remember seeing the polygons, right? Like you see polygons when you do really, you know, heavy tripping, and I remember looking at Ryland, and his polygons were like orange and very acute shaped. Like less than 90-degree angles is what his entire polygon shape was made of. Almost like frame fighters from Super Smash Bros. Melee. And then my friend Paul, he was green and very obtuse. His polygons were obtuse. So greater than 90 degrees. So the orange one with the sharp angles looked like I couldn't trust him, Ryland. And the one that I felt like had a good soul was Paul, because he had the obtuse shapes and green, just the energies and the vibes and the looks. There was no reason why I should suspect, you know, Ryland would have been bad or upset or anything. I mean, that's just probably what I saw and how I interpreted it. I just remember how fucking pointy the nose was. It was just like ding ding. So that was the first trip. It wasn't really a breakthrough. It was just like a taste. The second time I did it, I remember I was with my friend Sebastian, and so I started blasting. Inside joke. So shout out if you watch this, by the way. So I think this time now we have the powder, the crystal form, and we were smoking it, but we did it the wrong way. We like heated it too quick, so we didn't have as much, but it was enough for like a strong dose. So it definitely hit us. I forgot what his trip was, but I remember I'm just sitting in my chair, and all of a sudden, like from my third eye, with my eyes closed, right, I could feel like from my third eye, this woman that, just like when before Paul and Ryland were the polygons, shapes, like jagged shapes with defined edges and corners, this purple lady that just came down from my third eye she almost looked like one of those like people from one of those girls from India that like, they have their hair covered and they have the cloaks on and like they fucking sing really great songs and shit. Like, not a gypsy. I think that's like an offensive term or some shit, but I don't know. I mean, she came down and it was just such a loving figure. And my mom had passed away. And I never really like got to grieve for her because I never allowed myself to. And so I think I remember feeling like her love, like that. I felt like that was her coming down. And as she's coming down from my third eye, while my eyes are shut, there's this purple flute, and she starts playing the flute. And it was just, there was no genre or anything. She was just playing the song. She was playing love, if that makes sense. She was playing love. And then after that, we did another hit. And then again, I lean back in my chair, and I'm looking, like my eyes are shut. I'm in my chair. And I'm looking at everything that I'm seeing, because even if your eyes are shut or open, you're going to visualize and you're going to hallucinate. So I was looking up, and I was on the bottom of the floor of the ocean, where like I was on the sand, the bottom of the ocean. And I was looking up, and I could see the surface of the water way up there. And then all of a sudden, in front of out of my peripheral vision, a fucking shark comes. A great white shark just fucking comes right over me, right? And then once the shark gets to like about here, it opens its mouth, and then another shark comes out of that. And then it opens its mouth, and that shark opens its mouth. You guys can't even see what I'm doing. A fucking shark was going like this, and then like another one came out of its mouth. And then that one opened its mouth, and then another one came out of its mouth. And it was just like a shark coming out. It was like a Russian doll. The sharks just kept coming out of the sharks. And I remember feeling so fucking safe and so happy and so secure and so comforted. And it was at that moment that I realized sharks were my favorite fucking animal, because they resemble fucking like just confidence, boldness. Like they're the beasts of the fucking ocean. They've been around like when dinosaurs were fucking around. So, I mean, fucking great symbol of strength. And so that was that. Now the third fucking trip I had, on DMT, I went back over Ryland's house, and this time it was just me and him, and we had like 1,000 milligrams or something, or maybe like 1,500. He had some ridiculous amount, and we had all night, so we just fucking kept smoking, and we got to our breakthrough point, and I remember breaking through, and the first thing that I feel is really, really fucking high. And then he had an industrial fan to the side, and it was like, but it was like blowing on us for cool air because it was hot as shit outside. And then there was crickets. And so as I'm laying down and I'm feeling high as shit and I'm feeling deeper and deeper into it, I guess Ryland could kind of like see me panicking. He's like, just ease into it. So I'm like, I take a breath. And then, boom, that's when reality ceased to exist. I was sitting there, and the sound of the AC just slowly went, and just slowing down, as if you're slowing down the frames per second of a video, or slowing an audio down, or like if you have like a sound like if you speed up the vibration enough, now you're talking. So just imagine slowing down the frames per second so much to where, we live and see 30 frames per second, I think. And to be observing realistically 1 frame per second is insane. And so between that and then the crickets, once I started hearing the fans slow down in my head, that's when the crickets, I realized, weren't crickets. They were the heart monitor that I was hooked up to in the ambulance because I was on my way to the hospital because I had overdosed. I was dying. And I didn't realize that. Last thing I remember, I was sitting in the fucking chair, and now, my eyes are closed. I'm running out of oxygen. I might be bleeding out or something because I can feel the oxygen slowing down in my brain. My body is processing less and less frames per second. I can hear the heart monitor. I'm flatlining. The crickets, the cricket, that just went into the one long cree. So I'm like, I'm fucking dead. I'm fucking dead. And again, as I'm on my way to the hospital, I'm like, I'm dead. I'm dying. Okay, these are my last thoughts. Fuck. These are my last thoughts. This is what it's like. I didn't prepare for this shit. What are my last thoughts? What am I going to think? Am I happy with my life? Am I happy with what I've been doing? Fuck. What's my dad going to think? Fuck, man. Is there an afterlife? You don't have, and then I realized I don't have time for that. This is happening right now. Right now I'm dying, and I need to accept this. This is my personal experience. This is not anybody else's death. This is not my friend's death. This is not my parents' death. This is my death, my own personal death. And I need to figure out how I'm going to come to terms with that quick because I'm dying now. So, next thing I know, I'm looking at this giant spiral that goes infinity this way and infinity this way. And, it's all just in a twisted spiral like this, basically. Like a twisted spiral. The finger is like shit. Kind of like this, but in forever in a tube. So, and all these humans, they have no skin. It's just muscle, and all their backs are facing towards me, and I'm just looking at this. And not only did I die, but it went from dying to reaching the end of the universe. And so I'm looking at the remainder of humanity that has survived long enough to make it to the end of the universe. And one of the people that was turned inward or is now turning outward, and they're looking at me again with no skin, just muscle. So everybody looks the same. And he kind of tells me, come on. So then I realized that I'm that person turning back inward. And then somebody next to me says that if this is the last breath of humanity, then we're going to breathe it together. And then it was at that point to where I was like, this is my last breath. This is my last thought. After this, I'm dead. There is no more. So then I just went, and letting go of that breath, I had pure acceptance that I was dying, and I was totally fine. I was totally fine with dying. I had came to terms with it. I had done the best that I could do in my life up to that point. I had made a lot of changes in my life, so I wasn't such a shitty person. And I really tried turning myself around, so I was not ashamed of anything. And I was super, super proud of where I was in life. It was unfortunate and sad that I had died on DMT, but, oh well, let's see at least I get to see what's next. Either nothing will happen or something will happen. So then in eternity, when you say you've died for an eternity, you can't put a time limit on that. You can't say, how long did it feel like? An eternity is an eternity. An eternity is forever. It's an unknown amount of just forever. So I was dead for an eternity. And an eternity, one eternity later, man, if I wasn't too lazy, I would edit and put one eternity later, the fucking SpongeBob caption. One eternity later, all of a sudden, I take a breath. And then I'm alive, and I'm in reality again, and I'm just so happy and blissful, and I'm just so fucking excited because it's like, I'm not dead. Wait, before I get too excited, let me check again. Oh shit, that's another breath. If I could do it one more time, I know I'm alive. And then just the first thought that came to my mind was, life is fucking fruitful. Like, life is so fruitful. You could be a teacher. You could be a fucking farmer. You could literally just right now go outside and dig a fucking hole. You could drive a car. You could be a chef. You could be a CEO of a business. You could start your own business. You could work for somebody. You could do literally anything because you're not dead yet. You're not fucking dead. Do you know how much possibility and ability there is in life simply because the fact that you are not dead yet? And then I look at my friend and he's going like picking at his skateboard because he's figured that the secret of life, the formula to life existed in his skateboard. So it was a weird wake up, but I'll take that shit with me, probably till I die again. Like, I don't fear death anymore. I do fear the process of dying. Like, I would be very afraid if I got like lit on fire, or if I was bleeding out like I thought I was. But for what comes next in the afterlife, I'm not afraid of, because I know what comes next. It's the big repeat, which is going to be in another video. So, and what I really took away with it was just, it's something that only I can know, because only I can explain it. It's something that I, as an individual, personally experienced, and that was my personal experience. Like, nobody else can have that same experience. Like, when you step in a river, you can only step in that one spot at the same time. Like, you can't. You can step in it once, and then because the river's flowing. So even if I tried to explain what I could take out of that, it would just be surface level stuff like, yeah, I'm a lot happier now. I'm more productive, like this and that. I could say things like that. But again, unless you actually had it happen to you, it's going to be your own experience. And that's kind of one of the cool things. Like, only you get to have that. That's your belonging. But yeah, so that was the time that I did DMT. And also, shrooms. So if you're not subscribed yet, please hit subscribe. That definitely goes a long way. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. We're at 308 currently. I do